Thank you, Judge Moore. It's really an honor to be here today. Appreciate the court's asking me, and I want to say thank you to all the judges. What a great job. 1,900 people graduating is absolutely amazing. The impact that you've had on everybody's lives is incredible. I also want to thank the mayor, who's not here right this minute, but for all of his work and advocacy on behalf of behavioral health. He's been absolutely a phenomenal advocate, and he's really helped quite a bit. So we're appreciative of that. Graduates, congratulations. I know how challenging it is, and in a few minutes you're going to hear how I know how challenging it is. This is a really big accomplishment, and this is that opportunity for a second chance. I certainly needed it, and I'm trying to make the most of my second chance. So again, my name is Brian Bayless. As of 2 weeks ago, I celebrated 8 years of sobriety. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of my story and a little bit about the company I work with today, and just share a few things very quickly with you. So my story, I remember my first drink. I was 12 years old. It was a beer. I didn't have very much of it, but I knew that this was something I really liked. Had my first blackout at 16. In high school, they called me the alcoholic, something I was really proud of back then. I was a pretty good drinker for a real little guy. And went to college and went a little crazy there as well. And, didn't have any major implications, but I got into a lot of fights. For some reason, I always thought when I was drinking that I was a foot taller and a lot stronger. But then I, finished college and got through and started my career. I started as a public accountant, and I got married very young, right out of school, and had a family very quickly. And my wife and I were, we'd party together, but we slowed it down a little bit as we had a family. And I had, a lot of times where I overdid it, but I had a lot of sorries left in me at that point. So 20s and 30s, life was okay. But in my 40s, I started my own business, a business consulting practice. And life started to get really intense and under a tremendous amount of pressure. And I got involved in a court case. I was kind of in the middle of it. It wasn't actually against me, but my name was in every deposition, and it was a really frightening time. And I needed something to cope. And that coping mechanism was alcohol. And I remember thanking God for alcohol, because it would make it go away for a short period of time. But that didn't last very long. And I really started to increase my drinking. Then my wife wasn't real happy, so I had to do a better job of hiding it. So I would, keep a couple bottles in underneath my seat. I had a half gallon in my trunk. I'd keep bottles in my files at work. I just needed it all the time. I just had to get a little something on, because I constantly had this pit in my stomach. I always had this pit in my stomach. I just never felt right. And I continued to do that, and life was getting more stressful and more pressure. And one day, I got a call from my son. It was the first time I ever took off work. I took off work just to drink. And so I drove around, I can't even tell you how many hundreds of miles and where I went, and just had a bottle in my car and was drinking. And I get this call finally about 5 o'clock, and when you coming home? And I came home, and there was my son, my 2 daughters, and my wife, and they say, "We know what you've been doing." And of course, like any good alcoholic, I lied. And but that didn't go over so well, and they begged me to get help. And so at the time, my son was a freshman at the University of Kentucky, and he was studying business at the time. And but he really led that intervention and made a difference. So to get my family off my back, I went to AA, but I didn't want to be part of AA because I was better than everybody in the rooms. I was smarter, I was better, but I certainly wasn't happier. So I kind of played the game, got into it a little bit, didn't really run the program the way it's supposed to run. I did it my way. Long story short, life got even more difficult, and I relapsed, and I hit it, and life got just unbearable for me, and I started isolating from my family. And when you isolate, you tend to think some pretty irrational thoughts, or at least I did, but they seemed so rational at the time. So I decided I didn't want to be here anymore, so I did something about it, and ended up in a lockdown psychiatric ward. When I got out of that, I was so depressed, I could barely get up. A good day, I'd get out of bed about 11 o'clock, and I just didn't want to be around, and ended up going back to another psychiatric ward, and then ended up in a partial hospitalization program, and that absolutely saved my life. There were 6 other people in that room just like me. The only difference between me and them is I had a job and nobody else did. But those people, those peers, one in particular, helped me get my smile back, helped me get my confidence back. I was back. I was ready. Only problem is I knew I'd never go to work again. So I thought there's got to be a better way. 6 of the 7 of them relapsed, 2 have passed away. I said there's got to be a better way. And what I learned from some experts in recovery was that the real gap in treatment is continuing care. What do people do after they get out of treatment? And so what I did, with the help of a terrific treatment center, New Directions, and funding from the Cuyahoga County Adams Board, we were able to start this company called Ascent. Fast forward 3 years later, we were having a tough time engaging people on the app. We tried live peer support. We got funding to go into Metro Hospital in the emergency room and help people as they overdose, help them get into treatment. That's been really, really effective. So and we tried in-person peer support. And then I merged with a partner in 2018, and we were able to serve the entire Medicaid population. We started as a company of 6 people. Today we're a company of 150. We're serving the entire state of Ohio. We were in 1 hospital. We're in 24 today. Last year we helped over 5,000 unique individuals, and something I'm really proud of. So, this was a gift. I mean, I work with some of the most amazing people in the world, and the name of our company is Thrive Peer Recovery Services. And the people that I work with, they all believe in the mission. Most of the people that I work with have, criminally justice involved. All of us have backgrounds. All of us have a story, and it's wonderful the amount of support that we're able to give each other on a daily basis. We all care about each other, and we want to make sure, number one, that our recovery is really important. We're growing. My only commercial is, if anybody ever wants to enter the field, we're looking. Happy to talk to you about that. Again, I'm just really blessed to be able to be part of such an amazing organization. Let me tell you what my life's like today. When I had my incident, my wife and I separated, and we were married for quite a long time. And today, I have my wife back, I have my children back, I have the trust of my children back. I lead a pretty boring life today. I don't get up at 10 o'clock anymore. I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I get to work out 6 days a week. I go to 3 meetings in the morning and 2 at night. I'm just blessed beyond blessed to be able to do that stuff. But, it's not about necessarily meetings. I believe in all pathways to recovery. There's many, many ways that people can recover. It's all about really wanting it and having that desire. I lead a pretty good life. I get to spend a heck of a lot of time with my grandchildren. None of them have ever seen me drunk, which I'm pretty excited about. and hopefully, day by day they won't. So I'm grateful beyond grateful, and I'm so happy I could be here today. So my message to all of you is, sky's the limit, okay? Sky is the absolute limit. I never thought I would smile or laugh again, let alone be in the opportunity that I'm in today to work with such amazing people. But it takes work. I want you to dream big and work hard. And the other thing is that your sobriety and your recovery has to be number one every single day. I work on my recovery every single day, and you can do it too. So thank you very much.